Number 9 does not have a line reference, but if we go to the next question, like we're supposed to, number 10 has 4 line references for us. So this is one that you could probably get away with not going in the normal QLC order, but I'm going to for the sake of habit. So we want to use the QLC method to just keep ourselves organized. So first we read the question, make sure we understand it. That's the Q. In the passage, when Miss Spivey announces that she had seen camels, the student's reaction suggests. So we want to know what about this camel thing, but more important, we need to know how the students reacted. It's about the student's reaction, okay? So now we go to the lines in question 10. So we got to switch between the two questions and get rid of these line references that don't matter. So let's look at 82 to 84. That's right here. It says, we saw a whole caravan of camels. She looked around the room, waiting for us to be amazed and delighted at the thought. Okay, so that's definitely Miss Spivey saying the camel thing. But we don't really get the student's reaction. Maybe it's being implied that they didn't react with amazement and delight. So maybe we leave that in because it's hinting at that's where it's going to go. But I don't like that it doesn't just come out and say it. So let's keep going. Let's look at 85 to 86. We all hung there for a minute, thinking hard, until Miss Davis spoke up. Mavis Davis spoke up. What a name, Mavis Davis. So that does sound like the kid's reaction. So they hung for a minute, thinking hard. So we might even write that, just like, okay, they're thinking. They're waiting. That feels better. That feels more like an answer to the question. But let's keep going. 87 to 90. That's here. She means like the 3 kings rode to Bethlehem, Mavis said, and she folded her hands smugly on her 7th grade desk in the back of the room. Okay. Well, that's the reaction of Mavis. That's good. But the question says the student's reaction as a whole. So, again, I might keep this in case I get stuck here, but I want to make a note that this is Mavis's reaction, not everybody's. But let's look at D. 91 95. Miss Spivey made a mistake right then. Instead of beaming upon Mavis the kind of congratulatory smile that old Miss Chandler would have bestowed on her for having enlightened the rest of us, Miss Spivey simply said, that's right. So again, this is Miss Spivey's reaction. This feels totally wrong to me. It's not the student's. Now, we've got these vocab words here. And what I like to do when we have these simple things is I like to use dumb summaries to just make it as simple as possible. Right? So if I were to use a dumb summary for longer passages, longer groups of things, I might just cut it down to a few words. These are just one word. So one thing that we can do to make this dumber is think in terms of connotation. Are these positive or negative? Delighted is obviously positive. Fascinated is also positive. And those don't seem that different. So it makes me nervous that there's 2 positive answer choices. Baffled means confused. So I'll write a question mark. It's not positive or negative per se. It's just that they're confused. And D, worried, is very clearly negative. And I don't remember reading anything very negative here. So let me go back to what I think. I think it's B here. We all hung there for a minute, thinking hard, until Mavis Davis spoke up. Well, I don't really get any indication that there's a positive reaction from those words. What I do get is that they're thinking, and baffled is a word that I associate with thinking. Confusion, right, is what happens when you're thinking and you're not really reacting. You're just kind of hanging there waiting. So C is the answer, and then B is the line reference that proves that. But if people are stuck, it's usually because they want to pick A or B for some reason. It seems like an interesting fact. They did talk about that being the reaction they even used the word delighted. Tricky. That's the reaction that Miss Spivey wants from them, but it is not the reaction that she gets from them. They are reacting differently. They are not reacting positively. And the fact that we have these 2 very similar positive answer choices makes me nervous that, those are probably traps, because why would one be right but not the other? How would they be fascinated but not delighted? How would they be delighted but not fascinated? Those seem to be too linked for one to be right and not the other. And so there we go. Baffled matches because it's not as positive, but it still conveys that idea of thinking. So dumb summary sometimes can just make us focus on the things that matter and not get all, caught up in the very specific definitions of words. We can just kind of take a step back and think about positives and negatives for a second and then dive deeper if we need to. That's perfectly fine.